Hello, good morning. Sorry, I'm having some technical shit I'm trying to fix. I'm knocking all my crystals over. There we go. Good morning. Hello. Just fixing my audio. I knew you were going to do that. Stupid thing. There we go. Now it's working. Finished prepping my coffee because I was running late. All right. Just editing something really quick, messing with stuff. How's it going, everybody? Nice to see you all. Every 2 days, there we go. Just trying to fix something. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. There you go, Sharice. I fixed it. I think I did. Let me know if I didn't fix it. I think I did. Sorry, we're having some glitches in the matrix this morning. Trying to set up SRT2. Sharice and I are working on the link right now. I think it might be working now. Thank you, Sharice. Okay, now I'm back. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Welcome. How's it going? I've been doing a lot of adulting this morning, so I'm a little behind. That's why I have to add the sugar to my coffee now. And I still haven't smudged yet, so I'll do that in a second. How's everybody? Good morning, good morning. Grand rising. Hello. How is everyone? Did you guys have a good sleep? How's everybody feeling with all these chaos energies coming? It's been a really interesting and exciting week, hasn't it? The coffee is very full. I'm trying not to spill it on myself. Hello, hello. Thank you for your help, Cherise. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. How's everybody been sleeping? How's the energies been the last couple days? I'm going to light my Siddhartha candle. And light my sage. Got my giant doobie smudge. Jessica said, hello, dreams last night and a number in my mind's eye right before waking fully. What number did you see? Olivia says, finally feeling better. I've been so tired and also trying to break the coffee habit. I feel you on that, Olivia. That's why I'm drinking mushroom coffee. Well, that's a lie. It's half mushroom coffee, half calf coffee. So it's half regular, half not regular coffee, which is I'm very much affected by caffeine. In fact, if I drink any caffeine whatsoever, I can't sleep for like 8 hours. So I've been drinking Rise coffee, trying to Sabrina says, what sleep? I feel you on that, love. So many wild dreams. Yep, lots of people are getting wild dreams. You got a grounding mat. Nice one, Brittany. Kat, I hope you're feeling better this morning. Kat's been feeling under the weather a couple days, so I hope you've been recovering. Make sure that you guys are getting lots of rest, lots of R&R, and also lots of hydration, because we're getting a lot of light codes coming in, a lot of downloads, and you need water. Your body is going to need water more than usual. And rest. Lots of rest. Oh, nice to see you, Laura. In New Zealand, of all places, too. This is very late for you. Brittany says, I was getting offered peanut butter sandwiches in my dream, but I turned it down. Nice one. Smart one, Brittany. You don't want to sign yourself away for a PB&J. Yes, Anya says I'm very tired, very busy. I'm sure that I'm also traveling at night. Lots of people travel without even knowing it. I travel almost every night, but I can tell when I've been like traveling. Like it's one thing to go out of body, but when you've been traveling and jumping through portals and going on and chasing beasties and shit, you do wake up tired. I can speak from experience. Yes, they do offer you food in your dreams. They will offer you all kinds of things in your dreams. Winning lottery tickets and all sorts. So, just bear that in mind. The more you tend to kind of keep a dream journal, the more you put your attention into remembering, the more you will recall these dreams. It just takes time. The subconscious doesn't expect you to even want to remember your dreams. Hi, Wade. Nice to see you. Thank you for that. Lots of tech glitches. We're in the middle of Mercury retrograde, so expect technology to be a little bit of a problem. Whoa, did I miss something out of this conversation? I feel like I jumped into Jordan saying, is it actually an ET or a succubus? What did I miss, Jordan? What? I feel like I missed part of the conversation there. Interesting. Alma had a dream she was being told to restart her last job. Interesting. You guys are having some really interesting dreams. You can set an intention before you go to bed every night to tell your higher self that you will not make any agreements or sign any contracts or accept any unwanted gifts during your dream state. You set that intention before bed, then you're going to have it like, I mean, obviously, if you don't set any intention, they're just kind of like, whatever. So you got to set that intention. Hi, Janet. Nice to see you, love. Robo says in the Philippines, they say not to accept the food that they offer in the dream, especially from people that pass, because it means they want to take you with them. Well, a lot of entities do it too. Entities will get that's in a way of signing an agreement. In fact, I found a dark contract on somebody the other day. Most of the time, dark contracts are made in the dream state. I found one made in the waking state the other day. This was signed through a work contract. They signed a dark contract by signing an employment contract. I was like, holy shit, really? I was like, talk about having that in the fine print. So I wonder what they didn't tell me what their profession was. I'm quite curious as to what work contract connotated a dark contract with an entity. They're probably a fucking lawyer or something. No offense to any lawyers that are watching. It's like, oh, you passed the bar, but here you go. You got a beastie now. I was being chased by a huge monster in my last dream. I was trying to get to a boat. Interesting. A lot of these could be past life memories. Dreams come in waves for me. Sometimes I remember them clearly because they have a very clear and important message. Sometimes I can go for weeks and months without really remembering because they're there for brain recess. Actually, I love that. In fact, a lot of us end up having to unpack these dreams later on. You may get a whole lot of downloads, but you're not exactly unpacking all of those downloads right as soon as you get them. There's a lot that comes through later on. I'm so glad to hear that your cat's back, Matthew. Wonderful. Very strange situation to have a cat disappear into thin air like that, but I'm glad to hear she reappeared. She went off with the Fae for a little while. The fairies took her on an adventure. Summer says, I have a reoccurring dream that I'm looking for donuts and pastries, but the shops are always closed or sold out. Isn't it ironic, Summer? So, wow, lots of you guys are having interesting dreams lately. How exciting! Very cool. All kinds of stuff is coming up to be healed right now. That's kind of the purpose of Mercury retrograde. You know, we talk about going backwards, right? And well, what happens? Past life shit comes up, childhood stuff comes up, things you don't even remember comes up, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Kat said, I actually remember my dreams from last night. Merlin and I were making magic. I bet you and Merlin make lots of magic in your dreams. Bradley is in the middle of the bush right now. Bradley has no reception, or he'd be hanging out with us right now. He is camping. So I'm actually quite jealous over that. It's way too cold to be camping right now. I would love to be out in the nature for the weekend. It is way too cold for that here right now. It's like 40 degrees. Nice to see you all. Welcome. Hi, Dipti. I always dream the village of my grandfather. Strange that I dream how it used to be 100 years ago when it was only the church and the only little houses. Probably it's not the first time you've been there. Just visited in a different time period. Hi, Ralph. Nice to see you. Usually it's a succubus. Sounds like a demonic. Men usually bring him into the house. No offense, boys, but yeah, usually it's a husband bringing a succubus into the house. So yeah, if you have anything like that, I would smudge the house, call on your guides, make sure that you do a full clearing on the house. Anytime you have a sex dream, even if it's not a scary sex dream, I would just do a cleanse. Definitely do a cleanse. Anytime you have a raunchy dream, that's the first thing you do is you close down portals, you call back your energy, you ask your guides to do a full cleanse, and you make sure that you smudge your whole house, especially your bedroom. And you command for anything that is not of the highest of light to leave. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that, Lori. Oh, Lori's fur baby passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that, Lori. Giving you the biggest of hugs. Melissa said the best dream I had a few weeks ago was with Jim Carrey. I met both times in the dream, and each time it's like finding my soulmate. I woke up feeling euphoric and emotional. I never experienced that love before just by meeting. I have been going through a very similar experience the last couple weeks. As you guys remember my very emotional story I told you last week about my soul guide, Fergus. I'm still connecting with him and learning some new things about our friendship that we had. Learning quite a bit about myself and getting downloads as well, because when you focus on a past life, you can start getting new memories coming in, memories that you didn't anticipate. And sometimes when you get those memories, you don't just download the experience, right? You download how you feel from that experience. You download your memories of how you feel from that experience. And so I've been kind of in a bit of an emotional state this past week. It's very confusing. And I could see this is part of what Adriana went through a little bit when she came through as Evanon, because for those of you who don't remember, Adriana is in a pod and she has another consciousness that she basically is, right? She didn't die as another consciousness. They went into a pod and she comes out of that pod in spirit here as Adriana. So there was a bit of confusion in regards to who am I? Am I the person in the pod or am I the human here on Earth? And these things can kind of create a bit of an existential crisis in a way where you're trying to figure out, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am, because either I'm the person who got into the pod. Am I the galactic that got into the pod? Or am I the human that's running around split consciousness from that person? Because as you take a body, even if you take an NPC body, you're starting over from scratch. Your memories are not accessible. But as you start to get more memories, as you start to get downloads, you start to remember who you are in that other body, the person who stepped into the pod. And that creates a lot of confusion for a lot of starseeds. In fact, some of you may have noticed we don't talk about the pods as much anymore. It's because a couple people went for an Akashic Record session wanting to learn who they are. They find out that they're a galactic in a pod and they freak out. They freak the fuck out. The guides they're not allowed to tell anybody if they're in pods anymore, because a handful of people couldn't handle it. They had a major breakdown in regards to who am I? Why am I here? How did I get here? And I can understand how that would be creating a lot of confusion, because you wonder, who am I? Am I this person? Am I that person? And so being a human, there's some people here on earth that do have many different memories about different incarnations. One of those people, oh my God, just as I was about to say his name, he disappeared. He remembers like 12 incarnations. Matthias DiStefano. Thank you, Brain. Matthias DiStefano remembers 12 of his incarnations here on earth. Probably more, because it's been years. He's probably still getting remembers. So some people, when they start to remember things from their past lives, they start to experience the trauma that they experience, and they bring that trauma to the forefront of their mind in this reality. And this can cause some problems, because if you obviously are re-triggering trauma, you're causing problems in your life that are branching between the two incarnations, right? So it can create a kind of who am I scenario. And you start to have, especially if you start to download memories and feelings from that time. And that is what I've been dealing with this past week, because I start to remember a lot more about being Jenna and how I felt as her, and starting to remember the memories and how I felt about my guide. And there's a lot to unpack there. And it's been a very emotional roller coaster for me, because there are some points where I feel really, really elated and happy, and others where I feel really sad and nostalgic and confused. So I can understand how many of you end up with these karmic relationships in life, because this is what often happens. When you reconnect with somebody from a past life, you don't even have to remember who they are, but your soul does. Your soul absolutely remembers. So I'm not going to retell the story about how I met Fergus. That was on Thursday. If you guys are interested in hearing that story, it was a very, very emotional story. So I'm probably not going to tell that again here on the podcast. But I did find out last night a little more about other experiences that we had. I don't want to share some of the more personal ones, because those are very deeply private. But I did have a memory pop up of some very, very painful stuff that's coming to the forefront to be healed. Which, Mercury retrograde, this is the best time to do that in a way, because all this shadow work is coming up. It's coming up and asking to be healed, how to release it. Amanda says, how come you can remember? Well, when you sit down for an Akashic Records reading, and somebody who is a very good Akashic Records reader, somebody who can actually see your records, will start to tell you things that you experienced in a past life. And as you start to remember this, as they're telling you this, you start getting downloads. You start having a flood of memories coming back to you, right? And it reminds me, and I've said this before the other day, it reminds me of watching an old video of myself as like when I'm like 3 to 5 years old. And you don't remember something at that age, right? When you're 3 to 5 years old, you don't remember that stuff. But if you watch the video, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I remember how itchy that dress was, that I was wearing. Or, oh, I remember when we went to that place. I remember this and that. You start to remember things that aren't even in the video. Okay, right? You're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember this. And it starts to bring back little memories here and there. Well, that's what it happened to me. This is what happens almost every time I sit down for an Akashic Records reading. I start to get like this downloads, and I could see it very clearly in my mind's eye. And even if I disconnect with that medium and I go about my day, I start to get more memories coming out. I'll be doing the fucking dishes, and all of a sudden I'll have an epiphany, and I'm like, whoa. So I wondered how that happened. Does that happen through the downloads? Like, you get all the downloads, but you don't unpack it all at once, right? So that's why after a couple more days, things will start to pop up. Well, that's what's been happening to me. I've been having all kinds of memories and random things popping up. And this is creating like this bridge between my lifetime here and the lifetime that I was in as Jenna before Culloden. So I have had a very strong emotional connection to that lifetime, and trying to process the emotions from that has been very challenging, because you almost feel like you're a different person in a way. As the more you reintegrate that life, the more you feel like you're even changing yourself now. And I've also been working on healing that lifetime too, by imagining other scenarios that could have happened to change the the paradigms, change the results that obviously were horrific. So anyway, I'm not the only one who ends up having like these little epiphanies as we start learning about past life stuff. So I was chatting with Bradley. Bradley's one of my little besties, of course. So I chat with Bradley all the time about things and we share memories and stuff. And Bradley was on his puppy run the other day and he's driving for hours and hours on a highway. And Bradley sees this truck in front of him. And not even 2 minutes before we see this truck, Bradley says to me, he goes, I feel like I know Fergus from somewhere. My guide, my gatekeeper guide. And I was like, really? How do you know? Like, how do you know that? And he goes, I don't know. It's just this feeling I can't shake. Like, I just know him from somewhere. Not even 2 minutes later, we see this. Now, Bradley risked his life to take a photo for me. And look, he sees a Highlander on the back of the truck. And we were laughing our butts off. We're like, you're right. He's even got the knee-high socks and the little cap and the little sword, right? So we were laughing. We're like, oh, Ferguson's obviously trying to tell you. Yeah, we must know you from past. Like, because Bradley was like, I feel like I know Fergus too. Like, I just feel like I know him from somewhere. So we see that message and I see the Highlander. We assumed it was for the Highlander, right? Because Fergus is a Highlander. So we were joking around. We're like, whoa, that's really crazy. But I kept looking at the eagle. And I'm like, I feel like there's more that he's trying to say right now. There's more to this. So I'm like, the eagle. What is the eagle? So something just, it wouldn't let it go. I just kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about the eagle. And so last night, as I'm hanging out with Adriana, I said to her, I said, can you just check my record really quick? I'm just curious, please, if you don't mind. And she's like, Laura, you know there's no such thing as really quick. And I'm like, please just check it anyway, because I'm dying here. I got to know. I need confirmation here. So I asked, I said, is there another lifetime that I knew Fergus? I just want to know, is there another lifetime that we're meant to know about right now? And she goes, they're showing me your Roman life. And I'm like, my Roman life? Oh, I've told you guys about my Roman life before, where we were in an army that we were basically, we were sent to this remote area in Britain. We didn't know where. They just said you were in a remote area in Britain and you were attacked by Celts, by Picts, I guess. I don't know. They had blue war paint, right? And they slaughtered you. They killed you down to the last man. They slaughtered the entire army. And we didn't know much about it. I just know that there was one person that survived that battle, only one, and it was our commander. And our commander only got away because he got away on horseback. That was actually the last thing I saw as I was getting stabbed in the side by an angry Pict. was actually my commander running over the hill. Oh, there's 108 people watching. That's hilarious. Hi, Siddhartha. So I knew about that life, and I was just like, whatever. I just don't. I know about a lot of lives. I have like 30 lives of mine written down here. So anyway, I'm sure you guys can get where I'm going with this now. Guess where I knew Fergus and Bradley? We were in the Roman Legion together. And I found out what Roman Legion it was. I know exactly what Legion we were in when we disappeared. It was the Roman 9th Legion. So for those of you who have ever seen this movie, The Eagle, it's an old movie that came out, I think it was in 2011. It was based on how a Roman legion disappeared in Scotland. Boudica wiped their asses out is the main theory as to what happened. But that is true. That I can confirm now that is true. Queen Boudica handed us our asses on a platter. Fergus was in that army with me, and we were besties with Bradley in that lifetime. The three of us, Bradley, Fergus, and I, were very close in that lifetime. And we all died side by side, getting our asses handed to us because they sent us over the wall. That's the last thing they knew, is they sent the Legion across Hadrian's Wall into Scotland, and nobody ever heard from them again. Well, now we know. We got our asses handed to us. And so Bradley had a major like, aha, I knew it because he could feel that he knew Fergus. He could feel that he did. And I could feel that there was more than one lifetime. I was like, there's no way that what I feel is, based on one lifetime. And I said to Fergus, I was like, there's no way that this is just based on biscuits that I brought you to the battle. You're not going to stay with me for life just because I brought you biscuits. I know it. Like, there's more to the story here. But they did. They really it's amazing how much you start to recognize certain things that come out when you start to tune into these memories. So you can meditate on this. All you need is like just one little tidbit. Did Bradley not incarnate into the Highlander life? I don't know. We didn't ask on that. I feel bad asking for Adriana more than one lifetime. I'm like, just give me a little detail, please. I don't want to take up too much of her time. So I didn't dig too much further, but it is possible, especially because you're having that thought, Charisse. Who knows? But many of us have all known each other in other lifetimes. This is why we have a sense of familiarity with each other. And if you feel that you know somebody, you just say, I feel like I know you from somewhere. You did. Don't gaslight yourself. You did. 100%. And a lot of people end up, disbelieving these things because it sounds so crazy. So it's just fun to look into these past lives and to start to recognize all the different things that we experience because we still have very similar personalities even in this lifetime. Not that I act like a Roman soldier now, but it is very interesting to see how all of these memories kind of unfold into the bigger picture. And we start to understand why we are the way we are and who we are as a person. So it's just fun. And I encourage anybody who is interested in learning about their past life history. Jessica said that's probably why you got so upset when Fergus died in battle in your past life, because of the past life before that. They said we were like brothers, the three of us. In fact, it's interesting. Bradley went for an Akashic record session with Aaron Saniva once, and Aaron told him that he was a bullied Roman soldier. We found out that Aaron Saniva was also in that army. So we're like, wow, no wonder she got that one so right. So it wasn't just the three of us. We even knew Aaron Saniva in that life, which is pretty cool. So there's all kinds of things and connections that we have with other people that we don't recognize because we don't have those memories. But those memories still exist. You still have that feeling for a reason. Amanda says, can you be a man in a previous life compared to one being a woman? 70%. Now, this is really funny, Amanda. Most of my life, I've been considered a tomboy. Like, I've always been there. I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a horse farm. I'm the type of person that would rather go and, I don't know, play out in the woods and do that sort of thing. Like, I've always been very outdoorsy and very much boyish to a degree. Not to say that girls aren't outdoorsy and all that, but I'm definitely more of a tomboy. Always have been, always will be. And 70% of my incarnations have been male. 70%. So I'm constantly trying to work on my femininity, like trying to feel more feminine. Having long hair and big boobs helps. Just saying. That's probably why I chose those in this lifetime, so I could have that as a little thank you for making me feel more feminine. It helps because most of my lifetimes have been male. In fact, almost every single lifetime, I wasn't just a male, I was a warrior. So I wasn't just a man, I was starting some shit. I've pretty much either been murdered or assassinated or killed in battle in every incarnation, pretty much since I got here on Earth. So this is why many of us, we don't really feel feminine a lot of the time, and I never really have. Like, I'm the type, I did anti-poaching work in South Africa. That is the type of person I am. Like, I go out and do anti-poaching and shit. Like, I am still a bit more, I don't even care. Like, I proudly admit it. I am definitely a bit more masculine than most. And it's like, whatever. Now I know why, though, because 70% of my incarnations were male. Zach told me once, he goes, your timeline in your next lifetime is so clear now because of all the choices you've been making that keep you in alignment with that timeline. And we could see you very vividly, very clearly now in that other timeline. And I said, really? They said, yeah, the more your future gets set in stone, the more it becomes clear to us what the future is going to be. And I was like, that's fascinating. And he goes, yeah, we've seen you as a Tegetan man. And I was like, I'm going to be a man again? That was my response. Not, oh, yeah, finally get out of my human body. Oh, I get to go back to Tegeta after this. No, you mean I have to be a man again? Still hoping they can work on that for me. I kind of want to be a woman in my next life. I'm enjoying being a woman now. Thank you. Summer says, stuck here with the warrior vengeance. Let's fucking go. Yes, Summer. I'm still a warrior. Exactly, RJ. I'm still a warrior. It just looks different. I prefer being a woman too, Michelle. No offense, men. And I know that women have it more complicated. And I'm not just talking about now, obviously. And throughout history, we've had it a lot tougher in many regards. But still, I'm just like, I'm actually enjoying being a woman. I want to balance it out for a while until I can get to 50%. Dr. Scott agrees. Women are great. Thank you, Dr. Scott. Thank you for the compliment. But this is why I say, your vessel is not who you are. Some of you may have been a man. It was really funny. I had this one. I could tell from the questions that this one particular parent was trying very hard to understand their child's trance journey. They booked a clearing for themselves, and their 3 questions were in regards to why their child chose to be trans, right? And they just wanted to understand. Like, they didn't do it in like this way of like looking at it with disgust or disinterest. It was just like, I'm trying to understand what the hell is happening and why they would do that, And so I asked the guides. I was curious, what's going on with this? Why is this? And this was because this was somebody overseas. This was somebody, I'm not going to say what country, but it was like Scandinavia, right? So I asked the guides. I said, why did she choose to change her gender? And they said, because she did not want to be born a woman. She was a man in a previous lifetime. She has been a man throughout many lifetimes, and the only vessel available to that person was a female body, and they were not happy about it. And they did not enjoy being a female, and they wanted to change. They were like, no, I don't want to be a woman. It was the only body available to them, so they had to take it. So it was kind of like one of those you get what you get kind of situations. And they wanted to be born very badly, but they weren't really happy about being a woman. So at a certain age, they just said, I'm switching. And so, and what's interesting is this was a very Viking family. Like, very much. Like, even to this day, their past life resonances, they were all Vikings, right? And the daughter still has this Viking mentality. And he was trying to understand before she went for her surgery to change gender as to whether or not to be supportive in this and to understand why it's happened. And that's what we found out. And so there's a lot of people who have that confusion or the frustration with being stuck in a body that they don't understand, that they didn't really actually want that much. They're just kind of like, well, I guess I'll take it. It's kind of like going to the bargain basement and you're like, fuck, I really need this jacket, but because I'm cold, but it's not the best jacket. I guess I'll just wear it for now and just see if I can get something new later. It's kind of like that. There's a lot of souls that come here for slim pickings. There's not a lot of opportunities. If you want to be born in a certain place or within a certain family, the options are kind of limited. And that's what happened in that situation. But there's many others. There are people that are in pods. We were talking about pods, right? There's a lot of planets that don't have genders. And if you get into a pod as a genderless being, and then you try and pick a gender here on Earth in a human body, you're going to feel confused. Because you're going to feel like both. There's a lot of beings that are genderless. A lot of galactics. This is something that you guys are going to have to get used to. This is going to be common knowledge when we start working with galactic races from around the cosmos. Because there's a lot of beings out there that even reproduce asexually. Looking at you, Arcturians. They can literally clone themselves and give birth to a clone of themselves, and they switch their consciousness from their old body to their new body. That is how they reproduce. Or at least that's how I know some Arcturians reproduce. I'm sure there are others. Debbie says, I was supposed to be a Michael. What was my name? Alexander. That's right. My mom said I would have been an Alex if I was born a man. I was going to be an Alexander. I'm still great, even if I'm not an Alexander. Jenna says, yes, I'm a male in my pod. I know a couple people that chose a female body, even though they're a male getting into the pod. And what's interesting is a lot of those Pleiadians, especially that do that, are very like feminine, even if they are a male, you know? So that's often why they choose a female body, because they're very feminine anyway. Some races are feminine, more feminine than others. The Engen are not one of those races. The Engen are not a more feminine race, we'll put it that way. The Salatians, yes. The Nordics, yes. The Tagetans, I think, are well balanced between that. The Tagetans seem to be a good balance between masculine and feminine, but the Nordics, they seem more they seem more masculine. Karen says, I love being a woman. I love being PG, but I hated the pain of childbirth. I feel you on that, Karen. That's why I said one and done for me. Isn't that taking, Dr. Scott says, isn't that taking all the joy out of reproducing? Well, I feel the Syrians are androgynous. I think they look more androgynous, but no, Nefertiti and Akhenaten are Syrian. Nefertiti was very feminine, but Akhenaten was quite masculine. They were Syrian, so no, there's male and female Syrians. The Syrians are really cool. They're the ones that basically occupied Egypt the most. Where the Andromedans were the ones that occupied India the most. And the Tagetans and the Engen were the ones that occupied Scandinavia and Britain the most. Engen, that's me. I want to know more about it. Well, the Engens are probably one of my favorite races right now. They're just fun. They're wild. They're Vikings. They're space Vikings. What's not to love about space Vikings? If you've got an affinity for Thor, like, I mean, come on. Like, that's... Michelle says, are Nordics more feminine? Yes. The Nordic Pleiadians are not the Engen. Nordics and Engen are very, very different. Nordics are very similar to the Salatians. They're very, like, soft, and they wear blue robes. They meditate a lot. They're not fighters. They're not warrior types at all. No such thing as coincidence, Karen. How about the Irma? How long do they live for? The Irma live around 500 years, depending. Well, it depends. Between some of them live 500, some can even live up to 1,000, depending if they really are really, really, really old. Really, really old. But average length of life for a Irma, if memory serves me correctly, is over 500 years, between 500 and 1,000 years. Same for Tagetans. Tagetans also live between 500 and 1,000 years, and I'm pretty sure Engens also live around that. Oh yeah, Andromedans basically had their whole civilizations in India, Tibet, that whole region, Tartaria, that whole region. There were 3 different types of Andromedans, just for the well, I wouldn't say Andromedans. So there's 3 different types of galactics that founded India. We have the Vegans. So pretty much most Indian people come from the bloodlines from the Vegan people. They're from Vega. So like that beautiful copper skin and black hair, that's what Vegans look like. Andromedans, the Andromedans like Lord Shiva, our buddy here. And Lord Shiva, you can't really tell. It doesn't have a good hue to it, but Lord Shiva is blue. Lord Shiva is blue, and he has jet black hair, and it's very shiny black hair. Lord Shiva is Andromedan. There is also a third race that exists that are blue but bald, and they don't have the black hair that Lord Shiva and many of the others have. They are the original founders of the of India. Nathalie says, are you going to have all that info in a book? Yes, I'm already in the process of writing it, Nathalie. You ever see that fairy book? It's like one side of the book is like good fairies and the other side of the book is bad fairies. And you have to flip it over and like upside down. I own the book. I have it upstairs. It's a great book. It's very well illustrated. There's all sorts kinds of information about them. Like on one side, you have all the good fairies, and then you flip the book over and it becomes a completely different book. And there's like all the bad fairies, all the naughty, dark elemental type fairies are in there. That's what's the plan. That's the plan. That's how I want to do my beastie manual. It's going to be kind of like a D&D guide. Like I'm going to put their stats in there and everything. Are vegans? Yes. Vegans are the reason why we have the Vedic medicine. Yes. Vegans are, you know what's funny? The reason we call them vegan, vegans are vegan. Just for the record. So that's why I say it differently, even though it's spelled the same, because they're from Vega, even if they are vegans. So Michelle wants to talk a little bit about SRT. So we just had the SRT class about a week ago. That is SRT 1. Previously, we had 2 weeks before that, we had the psychic protection and spiritual hygiene class. That is still available for recording. If you guys go up on my website, if you go up under courses, you will see, yes, there's the book, Good Fairies, Bad Fairies. If you want to get the book, that's a good one if you want to learn about elementals, by the way. The graphics aren't exactly accurate, but it's still really beautiful. So I highly recommend that book. But that's exactly how I'm modeling my book. That's how I would like to do it. I need to find an illustrator. If anybody wants to help me illustrate things, especially because of what we're finding. Like we found a new Lizzie the other day. We found them in South Africa because all the interesting things are in Africa. I swear to God, like Africa, or Australia, or Texas. Those 3 places, you guys have the weirdest shit. If you live in Texas, Australia, or South Africa, I'm telling you, smudge your house extra. Okay? If you live in any of those countries, or Texas really should be a country of its own, but you know what I mean. So anyway, the reason I wanted to mention this, SRT2 is coming up. In fact, I just finished the login for that. Hang on, I'm going to get the link for that in just a second here. So a couple weeks ago, we did the psychic protection course. Then we did SRT1. SRT1 is how we explain all the stuff that's in your reports, right? If you guys wanted to learn about the reports and all these things, you get all kinds of information about what we clear. You know, you learn about entities, you learn about earthbounds, you learn about curses, cords, contracts, you name it, right? So we have all kinds of interesting stuff that we covered in SRT1. SRT2 is for those of you who want to do this work professionally. You want to chase beasties like me, okay? And for those of you who are a bit skittish still about entities, who are not really standing in your power yet, I would suggest that you wait. This is not a course for people who are still getting harassed by entities. If you are somebody who is still working on your sovereignty and you're struggling to stay sovereign, I had a lot of people sign up because, well, first of all, they knew they were going to get free clearings. We do meet twice a week, and you get a clearing every time you sit down as a group. We clear everybody in the group. So yes, if you sign up for SRT2, you will have weekly meetings where you can get free clearings. And I did have quite a few people who did apparently sign up just for that. And they even told me this. This is not me making an assumption. They straight up told me this. And I have had a couple people who are also still struggling, even now, 6 months later, to stay sovereign. That is not any fault of, of their own in that regard, because that's just where they're at in their healing journey. They're getting through it. It's taking time to get through it. Healing does not happen overnight. And especially if you've been getting picked on by entities your whole life, it takes time to pull yourself out of the mud, so to speak, when they knock you down into it. So there's a lot of people who are very much, for example, right, for SRT2, the first time we ran through this, I had 115 people sign up. Only 40 of them actually followed through with everything and, showed up to all the meetings and did the work and really put in a lot of effort to see it to the end. So this is why this time we have changed things quite a bit. First time was going to be our quick run through. We were still kind of assessing things, trying to figure out, what's the best way to do it. We're trying and error is the best way to learn, really, So if you guys are interested, if you are interested in signing up for SRT2, which is the certification portion where you are going to be doing this work, where you will be chasing beasties with me. You have to have the psychic protection class. That recording is up on my website. I want to make sure that everybody knows psychic protection, is consistent with their psychic protection before you sign up for SRT2. I had some people assume that just because you're signing up for SRT2 that you're going to get a SRT soul guide. That is not how this works. Just because you sign up with my class does not mean that you're going to automatically just get an SRT guide. It doesn't work that way. If you are not connecting to the team you already have, why would they give you a new guide? So a lot of people made that assumption as well, and that is incorrect. You have to earn your new SRT guide by connecting to the team you already have and working your way up to that point. So with SRT2, what we do is we sit down. We're going to have at least I think it's about between 10 and 12 hours of instruction where you guys are going to be sitting in on sessions and you're going to watch us do clearings. So you're going to watch us, chase beasties, and you're going to see how we go through the protocol, because yes, we have a set protocol, but you have to deviate from that protocol. You don't just read through the questions. In fact, there are certain things that you will come across in the clearing that's going to take you down a deeper rabbit hole, and you need to know what questions to ask when you find those things. Like the other day when we were in South Africa and we found, as I was just telling you guys, we found a new reptilian that we had never seen before. And now we're trying to come up with names for all these freaky ass creatures that we can find in the astral that nobody has an explanation for. Do you know what this new Lizzie looked like? We kind of name them the German way, where we kind of just describe what they are. Like shield frog is how they describe turtles in Germany. So I'm like, okay, we'll describe it. This is the swan neck Lizzie. Trying to think of a name for it. I can't just put it in my book as a swan neck Lizzie. Swan neck reptilian. It straight up looked like a swan, like its head, like it had a body, not like a beefcake kind of reptilian body, but like a very thin, slender body. And it had a fucking neck like this, like a cobra, but it would look more like a swan. It's like I said, weird ass shit we find. How am I even going to tell somebody how to describe that shit? Like, my plan was just to be like, okay, maybe I have to get really, really descriptive with AI art, and maybe the AI can do it. But then I told Adriana, I was like, you know what we need? We need like a sketch artist. We need somebody who you can describe this thing to and be like, it had a weird ass face and its eyes were all weird looking and it's got like, we need like a sketch artist, funnily enough, to be able to describe what we're seeing in the astral. Maybe that's how we'll do the images in it. Well, for the bad ones, we'll just do like the sketch artist and like do a wanted poster with like that'd be really funny. I think I'll actually do that. We'll do their pictures like wanted posters. Yeah. Wanted swan neck Lizzie with a bad attitude. Swans are mean anyway, right? Can you imagine a swan Lizzie hybrid? Like, that thing would be so mean. So funny. There was another one too. That's not the only freaky ass reptilian we found. We found some weird ass hybrids. What was that other one that we found? The telepathic one. Carolyn, do you remember? I think it was you that found that one. We found like this telepathic Lizzie. Yeah, that one. The yellow one. Remember the yellow one? You know what it reminded me of? Anybody ever see X-Men? You know the mutant that was the really creepy mutant that was in the wheelchair that was able to convince, like, he was a really powerful telepath and he got like Professor X. He's the one that screwed over Professor X. You know the one? The really creepy one in the wheelchair? That's the same power that the Lizzie had. He was convincing, that Lizzie was attached to somebody, convincing that person that they were already crossed over and in heaven. They thought they were tra-la-lying through heaven. not realizing that they were actually, all these earthbounds weren't in heaven. They were actually stuck in the lower astral in purgatory with this freaky ass. I don't even know. It was, we didn't even come up with a name for that one, did we, Carolyn? I think we called that like a telepathic Lizzie. Well, they're all telepathic. That one was extra telepathic though. And it was really thin. Like its legs and arms were only like it was like, it was a freaky ass looking thing. So you wonder, how does this happen? Well, we're not the only ones that the reptilians were genetically modifying. I'm just saying. Some of them are the more natural based ones, like the Naga. The Naga are more natural. The Kingu, the Naga, the Draco, all three of those are original. That's what they were originally, right? So for those of you who don't know what the Kingu are they're the bottom of the totem pole. They're the foot soldiers. When we talk about foot soldiers, we usually kind of put them into groups. Cat says banana Lizzie. Yeah, there's all kinds of freaky ones. And then there was another one that we found just the other day. We found somebody that had another Pharaoh Lizzie. I've talked about Pharaoh Lizzies a few times. I think I've found 3 of them. 3, maybe 4 Pharaoh Lizzies in the 5,000, 6,000 plus clearings that I've done. We found 3 or 4 of these. So some of them are more rare than others. This one, the Pharaoh Lizzie, was attached to somebody who ironically came from Egypt. So I wonder if she just picked it up from home. But this person, she had a Pharaoh Lizzie coming out of her third eye. So for those of you who don't know what a Pharaoh Lizzie is, you ever see the images of the pharaohs that had like those things coming out of their third eye? Cobra. There we go. Those. You see in ancient Egypt, we had those? Yeah, that's not a fucking ornament. Okay? I'll give you 2 guesses what that's fucking representing. Uh-huh. And they were everywhere. They were all over. If you look at all our sarcophagi, if you look at, I mean, they're everywhere. All of them. They're still depicted to this day like that. Uh-huh. I'll give you 2 guesses why that is. Did Tut have one? I'm just curious. Tut. Let's see if Tut had one. Yeah, Tut had one. Tut was not exactly a pretty looking man, I'm just saying. But that's that's Tut. Tut had one. Yeah. Guess what that is? Mm-hmm. Guess what that fucking Pharaoh Lizzie did to that client? Her third eye had to be replaced. Her third eye chakra was obliterated. The guide said it looked like shattered glass. It doesn't just block your third eye, it shattered it. Completely shattered. Her third eye needed to be replaced. And yes, the guides can do that. They can literally, it's like taking out a fucking bulb, grabbing a new one and putting it back in. That's what it's like. Yeah. Carolyn said looked like a smashed mirror. There were lizards attached to emperors? Yes. Yep. Anybody ever watch Stargate? What do you think they were trying to represent with the Goa'uld? For those of you who don't watch Stargate, there was a parasitic creature that looked just like that would attach to people to the back of their skull. They go into the back of your neck and they attach to your brainstem there, and they can control your body like a parasitical host. They take over your body and possess you secretly. They secretly possess you by doing that. I wonder where they got the idea for that. For those who don't know, the Stargate program, the Stargate program was a very real thing. And the Stargate TV series was what the very first series that was created by the U.S. Air Force. The U.S. Air Force wrote the script for the Stargate series. People don't really know that. Why do you think they had so much military stuff in that? 100% Stargate was written by the military. It was written by people in the military. And if you look at the 100th episode, which is one of my favorite episodes, they call it the Wormhole Extreme episode. Well, in that episode, they had a guy who lost all his memories. He had his memory wiped, but he didn't forget anything. He went to Hollywood and wrote it all into a script, into a TV series script. So He had his memory wiped of the Stargate program, gets out, goes to Hollywood, writes all this script about the Stargate program, and the military finds out. And they're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then the military ranking people, the people high up, said, are you kidding? This is the best thing that could have happened to us. And they're like, why is that? Why is this about that? He's telling everybody our secrets. And they're like, because it's going to be in a TV show now. Nobody's going to believe it. If we put it into they said it in the 100th episode. They said this is how we control the flow of information, because if anybody comes out and says, hey, I was part of that, blah, 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 they can just look at it and say, look, you're getting that from a TV show, you fucking crackpot. So they did. They straight up, they made a mockery of it. They made fun of themselves, and they even, like, they were milking it for all it's worth in the 100th episode of Stargate. I'm telling you, if you watch it, you'll understand how much of a mockery. They were straight up admitting what they did. Straight up admitting that they are putting all of this truth into a TV program, because if anybody says anything about the TV program, they can, or sorry, about the real program, the real Stargate program, they can just look to the TV show and say, that's in a fucking TV show. You're crazy. Plus, yes, I forgot about that, Amy. Plus, they can also release karma. They can tell people, well, you know, secretly we are keeping all of these secrets and we're doing all these things that we shouldn't be doing, and that's going to create karma. But if we tell people what we're doing and they don't realize that we're admitting it, then at least we could still kind of release that karma. So yeah, they do that all the time. Not only are they trying to get us to manifest stuff, but they're trying to release some of that karma from the things that they shouldn't have done by admitting to what they did, but just admitting to it in the movies or in a TV show instead. They do that all the time. Why do you think they put so much truth into TV shows and movies? It's not because the producer is trying to be like, hey, there's a secret you should know. Most of them are just trying to shirk karma. So just next time you see something in a TV program and you're like, holy shit, this resonates. Why do you think people loved Star Wars as much as they do? There are some people that have been obsessed with Star Wars for a long time. The Star Wars is a retelling of the Orion Wars. We lived that. We went through that. It may have happened nearly a million fucking years ago. I'm sorry, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs today. I'm emotional today, I told you. It may have happened like a million years ago. But that is a true story. And many of us, even though we may not remember that, once you start going into your Akashic records, once you start kind of triggering some of those memories, you have an avalanche of emotion that comes through here. You know what's interesting? Usually when I check a new starseed, they don't have a whole lot of traumatic stuff to remove. You know, I can kind of tell when somebody has a clean report that they're a new starseed. They don't have as much trauma to clear, especially if you haven't been on Earth very long time. You know what's interesting? Even though we sometimes check new starseeds, and you're brand new starseed, it's your first time here in life, you know, here on Earth, or one of your first times here on Earth, we still find Orion Wars trauma. We still find it to this day. That happened over 12,000 years ago. Some of you were killed and eaten by reptilians on another planet nearly 500,000 years ago. There were whole planets wiped out. Ever heard of Mintaka? Some of you are from Mintaka. Mintaka was destroyed. Tiamat was destroyed. There are other planets in Avalon and Lyra that no longer exist because they were literally destroyed. And there are many of you that, even though you may have died on those planets, you're not gone forever. You just go to a different planet. And that memory, and all of you who are Andromedan, you have that in your soul history. You have that trauma in your soul history. The Andromedans lost their homeworld as well. In fact, the Andromedans are kind of like space nomads now. They could have moved to another planet. They could have taken over another planet. They chose not to. They didn't want the karma from an invasion. Yeah, because invading a new planet that's not yours, absolutely, that creates trauma. That creates all kinds of karmic shit. Even if there's only plant and animal life on that planet, when you invade that planet and take it as your own, you're creating karma. And the Andromedans didn't want to do that. So they created their own space You ever watch the movie Titan AE? It's one of my favorite movies as a kid. If you've never seen Titan AE, watch that movie and see if you feel anything from it. See if you feel any triggers from Titan AE. That is also a retelling of the Orion Wars. And you've seen Jupiter Ascending. Jupiter Ascending is one of my favorite movies. Like, Adriana watched it with me when she told me to watch it one time, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch that. Holy shit. I've never felt so emotional during a movie than I did with Jupiter Ascending. For those who don't know, Jupiter Ascending is about a girl named Jupiter who gets abducted by Greys, and all this scary shit happens to her. And then she gets abducted and harassed by reptilians, these big ass armored reptilians with wings. How triggered do you think I was watching that? Holy crap. Like, so for those of you who are, kind of interested in seeing if you have any of these triggers from the Orion Wars, watch those movies and see if you feel anything coming to the surface. See what you feel coming up, because it brings memories up so you can heal them. There's going to be other movies that you feel that you're watching and you're like, holy shit, why am I so emotional? Doctor Strange is the one that got me. When I first watched Doctor Strange when it came out, 10 years ago, that movie hit me like a bus. Doctor Strange is another great one that is based on truth. He is my favorite superhero. Because he's the only one that became a superhero through study. Like, he literally just became a superhero through education. I love that. So that's why Doctor Strange is my favorite. And Thor is a close second, of course, for obvious reasons. Avatar. Avatar is another one. I'm telling you, Avatar is there's so many different races that you're going to remember. Watching the Avatar movies is another one that's going to trigger you if you have Orion War memories. Yep. I'm telling you, there's so many of these things that you start to remember, and they put it in there for a reason. Because they know people are going to remember shit and they know it's going to go nuts. If they can put some kind of a historical truth into a movie, but dress it up as an exciting action movie, people are going to flock to it and they're going to love it. If they do it well, people are going to love it. And you know why they love it? Because they remember. That's why I love Jupiter Ascending. Are you kidding? Like, that is Zoran all the way. Okay? 100% that's Zoran. I love it. I was like, holy shit. Do you guys want to see what Zoran looked like? Adriana's amazing. She can remember things, right? And so Adriana stumbled upon a picture the other day, and it was a picture of basically looked just like me. And I was like, holy shit. She's like, this is what you looked like as Zoran. I was like, really? She goes, the hair is perfect. She's like, literally everything about this. I'm telling you, that is you as Zoran. And I was like, no fucking way. That's me. That was me when I was in warrior mode, chasing Lizzies around the galaxy. That is exactly what Zoran looked like, Adriana says. Like, spitting image. And I was like, fuck yeah. I was hot. Well, maybe I don't mind being a man if I'm going to look like that. Damn. Like, so isn't it funny though? Like, you have these memories that start popping up. And as I'm looking at that picture, right, as she's telling me this, I start feeling shit. I start feeling all these emotions coming to the surface. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, that really is what it reminds me of. Jennifer says, great. Now I have a crush on you, Lara. I was going to say, Zoran was a lady killer. Not just a Lizzie killer. So funny. Well, for the record, Pleiadians usually look like that. Somebody made some comments about Fergus the other day. They're like, damn, can I borrow your soul guide? I was laughing so hard about that. But then I was talking with Adriana later, and she's like, if you guys could see your soul guides like I do, she goes, you wouldn't be thinking about anything else. You'd just be sitting there making goo-goo eyes at your soul guides. Especially those of you that have like Pleiadian soul guides and all these, like, they're notoriously stunning. All of them. And they wonder why. They're like, why? Because Svadu talked about this. They were wondering like why Earth's humans look different to that, why we look the way we do. And Svadu basically explained that we're kind of like because of all the genetic modification, there's a lot of, it's almost like caricatures. Like we end up changing a lot and morphing and all these different, we're an amalgamation of a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so that's why on Earth, plus, I mean, the diet down here doesn't do us any favors. We all look like we've been ravished by the time we're like 25 because Earth is rough down here as well. Amma says I should stay single till open contact. I agree, Amma. Yes. Carolyn and I were joking about that. We're like, we can't date humans after this. Like, we spend too much time with galactics. It would be impossible to date a human after this. We're like, we just have to wait till disclosure. So we can get an Incan guide. Trapita says that's me towards my Incan Viking guide. Yeah, see, if you guys could see your guides, you would be like, holy cow. Carolyn says the bar is high. I don't think the bar could get higher, Carolyn. Tara says that's helpful actually, because the feelings that stir up with my Pleiadian guide is a lot and exciting, but whew, yeah, no kidding. Try figuring out your feelings for your gatekeeper when you found out you were in love with him like 270 years ago, and now you remember it. I'm like, fuck. Like, imagine having feelings for somebody who's been dead for 279 years. That's the boat that I'm in right now. It's fantastic. I made a joke though the other day. I was sending it to Carolyn. There's a really funny article. If you look online, there's a woman who told the BBC that she's marrying her 300-year-old ghost. She actually had a wedding and everything, where she married a pirate who died 300 years ago. I sent that to Carolyn, and I was like, I'm starting to understand how these things happen now. Like, no. She's like, nope, I can't date humans anymore. I'd rather date a 300-year-old pirate. Thank you. Like, it swore off humans, not dating humans anymore. But a very attractive pirate, I'll think about. Annie says, are all guides human looking? No, they're not. No, they're not. In fact, I know somebody that has a blue Arctic fox that talks as one of their guides. We know one person who has a tree as a soul guide. There's probably quite a few people who have trees as soul guides. So my husband is jealous of Ted. That's funny, Allison. Jessica says, Will Turner, same here, girl. Yeah, you know, like, now you understand why she married a pirate. It's 300 years old. Trapita says, I have a similar story with Norse deities. No kidding, right? When you can see the Norse soul guides coming in, like the Nordic ones are beautiful as well. They're all beautiful in one way or another. Some of you with Irma guides, you're like, I would love to cuddle with an Irma. I'm just saying. Come on, Callan. That's what I have on my phone. Look, I have an Irma as my phone case. That's Callan. Gotta love the Irma. This was a fun chat today, by the way. Just sitting here shooting the shit with you guys, hanging out, having a laugh. With an Akashic Records reading, can we meet our soul guides and gatekeeper? Yes, Tabitha. That is part of the point. I highly recommend getting a session with Adriana for that. I don't even know what to say about Adriana at this point. She's my rock. There she is. AdrianaGaray.com. When it comes to understanding past life shit, Adriana is in my opinion the best. So there's her website. She's gonna get a whole bunch of bookings this morning and going, why are you talking about me again? So she will also help you set up a password with your guides too. So if you're interested in signing up, for SRT2 and you're working on your connection to your guides and you want to have somebody help you to set up passwords with your guides, so that way you don't have to worry about imposters coming in and trying to be sneaky. It's really funny. We had an imposter try to come in last night as we were doing an assessment with as you can see, congratulations to Brett Immer for passing the mediumship assessment in SRT. We're very proud of Brett. He's been working very hard on his mediumship. His partner is a facilitator. So Brett, and I mean, it's what a perfect partnership, right? In regards to this, having a partner that's a medium and the other is a facilitator. So they did a lot of practicing, and he's done a phenomenal job. But one of the things that we were discussing, in regards to all of these things is the mediumship aspect of this. And that is getting very strong. We have a lot of opportunities for you guys to practice your mediumship. So after you pass the facilitator side of training, you are encouraged to come and join us. If you are working on your mediumship, you can sit in with us and get practice sessions and work on developing your mediumship. And Brett did an amazing job, as has Raquel and Janet. I'm so proud of you three. You guys have done an amazing job. So I just wanted to say, for those of you who are interested in doing this work, but you're not sure if you want to be a medium or facilitator, just get involved. Just try it out. Get involved with the facilitation and see how you like that. I love being a facilitator, but I also love being a good medium too, because being a medium actually helps me to be a stronger facilitator. I know which rabbit holes to go down. So I'm able to kind of, help lead the medium down certain rabbit holes because I can sense there's something down that hole that needs to be investigated. So I love it. I love being a facilitator. So for those of you who are just interested in getting your feet wet and trying to see if this is the thing for you, facilitator is a great role. But we are very proud of our new mediums, as Kat just said, because they have been working very diligently on their mediumship. To become an SRT medium within 6 months is amazing. And so you guys, the best way to do that is being consistent by practicing every day. So for those of you who are interested in SRT2, we do have the signups ready to go. We are raising the rate this year because, like I said, the first one was a round of practice anyway. And a lot of people didn't take it seriously. There were some people that I even gave scholarships to who did not do anything with it whatsoever. I gave them a scholarship. I invited them into the class. Not one of them finished as a certification. Not one. And that was a little frustrating to me because I'm like, well, this is a lot of hours. We're putting hundreds of hours into training you. Like, this is no joke. This is the real deal. And you will be involved in all kinds of cases. You're going to get lots of practice sessions in. We meet twice a week regularly. So this is why I say, like, to those of you, I have given out scholarships and I was a little disappointed that those people did nothing with it. None. Not one person I gave a scholarship to was certified. This is a real commitment. This is a career. This is a profession. Okay. And for people to get it for free and to be not interested, that kind of disappointed me a little bit. So I am willing right now. The rate is going to be $444. If you cannot afford the $444, let's say you're from a third world country, or let's just say you're in between jobs and you really are dedicated to this, and this is your calling, right? Like, you really feel it. If you write me an essay, if I read through your essay and I could feel that you are serious and this is really what you want to do, I will either give you 50% off or I will give you the whole scholarship for free. But I want to know that I don't want to be disappointed again. I want to make sure the people that I am giving these scholarships to are going to take it seriously and that they're going to take it to the end of the line. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see you certified if I'm giving you a scholarship. All right. So for those of you who are kind of frustrated about the price, I'm not doing this for the money. We need that money, yes, because we are planning on starting up we want to do in-person stuff. We're doing all kinds of exciting things. And in fact, we're even hoping to have a location in person for retreats. We're doing the training in person at some point soon. So we do need money to be able to grow this school. So we appreciate everybody that is paying for the training. But if you really are dedicated to this and you are absolutely sure that this is your calling, but money is tight right now, talk to us. I want to know why you're passionate about this. I want to know why you're interested. And I want to see how interested you are. So that way I know it's not going to go to waste and that you're not just going to join the class out of curiosity. So Sabrina says, now that I'm a certified facilitator, can I just start working with the certified mediums? Yes, you can. Feel free to reach out to them. Just because somebody is certified doesn't mean they're going to agree to work with you. This is the mediums, they get to choose. Some mediums work better with others. Victoria wants to know what stone I'm wearing. This is seraphinite. I'll show you. Oh, I don't know if I can get it off really properly. Seraphinite is a crystal associated with the angelics, and it's quite rare. You don't often see a lot of seraphinite. You can't really tell in this color because it's hue, but it's got a deep green color, and it's got a silver shimmer to it. Like the bands in it has like a silver shimmer to it. Seraphinite, named after the highest choir of angels, seraphim. So that is it's one of my favorite crystals right now. So I've been trying to connect with the angelics, trying to raise my vibration, and that's why I've been wearing it. Allison says I would have been in with this, y'all, but I can't afford it. So this is awesome. Like I said, I really can. The new mediums help students train. Yeah, that's what we were hoping. Yes. The new mediums are welcome to join us in regards to all the practice sessions we're going to have. If you remember, with SRT2, we had 4 weeks of practice sessions. We met 3 to 4 times a week. So almost every medium had their own practice session that they led. So you can see what it's like to work with different mediums. Some of our mediums are evidential mediums. Some of our mediums are trance mediums. So some of them go into a deep level of trance. You're not talking to the medium when it happens. You're talking to the soul guide. The medium goes to sleep. Some of these mediums choose to do it through telepathy, where they're hearing their guide and their guide is telling them what to clear. But other mediums work where they go to sleep and I'm talking to their soul guide. I get to talk to aliens. I get to talk to deceased people. I get to talk to angelics. I get to talk to all kinds of different beings through the mediums and when the mediums are in trance. So I get to have conversations directly with galactics. It's like having a chat with Bashar every day. I love my job. Like there isn't a single job on this planet that I would swap what I do right now for. Nothing. I can't think of a single thing that I would do rather than what I'm doing right now. And there are some of you who have the exact same vocation. Some of you are feeling the exact same way. And those are the ones that I can't wait to have do this work. Janice says, did they learn in class how to go in trance? Yeah. They learned through practice. They learned through class. Yeah. Yes, they did. Some of them learn through trance happens through practice and through connecting to your team. Not all mediums want to be trance mediums. Some mediums would prefer not to be. Some trance mediums stay conscious. Some of them stay 75% conscious. Some of them stay 100% conscious. Some of them stay 25% conscious and only remember bits and pieces. And some of them are out cold and don't remember absolutely anything. Absolutely nothing. And they have to watch the recording because they don't remember shit. So it depends on the medium. And that's why I'm going to teach you guys how to talk to each medium, each one, depending on how they do their mediumship. You're going to have to basically conduct your protocol slightly differently. So the trance mediums, they work differently to what I wouldn't say normal, but most mediums are not trance mediums. Bashar, for example, is a trance medium, right? Where Daryl Anka falls asleep and Bashar, this other consciousness, comes in and uses his body to have a conversation with the audience. There's a lot of people that do that. Trance mediumship is getting more and more common. Carolyn says, I started trance classes, but I found it to be a bit much. Angelina merges a bit with me, but it's not full trance, and I'm fine with that. Exactly. So this is why I say some mediums work very differently depending on how they prefer to work. And so each one of those, different preferences leads to slight changes in how you conduct the session. And that is one of the things that we will be teaching you, how to conduct yourself and how to run the session. Because, there's a lot that has to be done as a pair. A lot of people, some people will well, do I have to work with a facilitator? Some mediums would prefer not to. I feel much more confident in having people working in pairs. I think that as a medium and a facilitator, it's very important for the sake of safety, because the medium can get under attack. A medium can experience a psychic attack while they're under. I've had it happen before where, I mean, it literally happened the other day where we were sitting down to work and something tried to come in, and it was Adriana too. It was quite funny because she was like, no, that's not Zach. And I was like, it's not Zach. She goes, no, I recognize the energy. That's not Zach. And I was like, see, that's a really important thing to be able to recognize your soul guide's energy. So that way, if an imposter tries to be sneaky and come in, you recognize it. So this is one of many things that we will coach you through in understanding this. So you need a strong medium that is a teacher that will help you to understand what you're going through and what you're dealing with in regards to what you're feeling. Like the other night, I was sitting here and I had this weird pressure on my head. And I was like, what is that? It felt like this pressure pushing down on my head. And I was like, that's really weird. What is that? And I said something to Zach about it. And he's like, that's telepathy. Fergus is trying to talk to you. He's trying to tell you something. And I was like, holy shit, you can literally feel it like a pressure on the head? And they said, yeah, that's how you know there's a telepathic thought coming in right now. Because the vibration is so different, you can actually feel it. So right now I'm working on getting my vibration up so that way I don't feel the pressure when the thought comes in when he's trying to talk to me. There's all kinds of things that are going to happen, and you're going to be confused and going, why am I feeling this way? And this is why it's important to have a senior medium or a senior facilitator who's helping you understand all this. So this is also why we only do these classes once every 6 months, because it takes us 6 months to really, help our mediums get to the point of having this confidence in themselves and to really have that strength of, I hate to say it, but gaslighting ourselves is something that all mediums are still dealing with. Even senior mediums still gaslight themselves. So working as a group really helps to validate and also strengthen our connection and our confidence, because we validate each other. If I can see what you can see, I believe it more, if you know what I mean. So working as a group, developing SRT as a group is really, really important. And that's why I'm encouraging, please, if you feel drawn to this work, even if you're not 100% sure if you want to be certified yet, I mean, that's okay. But the most important thing is that this is something that you feel drawn to, that this is something that you feel passionate about. Because when you're dealing with dark entities, when you're on the front lines of a holy war, you need more than just monetary gain as your motivation. I mean, yeah, you can make money from doing this, but that is the very last reason that all of us are doing this. We all have bills to pay, right? We all have to pay bills in order to get by. The main reason we do this work is because we love it. And when I say we love it, like we fucking love it. We tell each other on a daily basis, oh my God, I love this job. Like, this is the coolest thing that I could have ever done with my life. Okay. But keep in mind that comes with a price. And if you're somebody who's getting picked on by entities, this isn't the job for you yet. And I told a student the other day, this is an analogy that I've been using quite a bit. Imagine, you live in a rough neighborhood, right? You live in a really rough neighborhood and you're getting beaten up all the time. And there's like gangsters all over the place and they're just picking on you. You got bullies everywhere and you're just having a really, really tough time, right? So you think, you know what I'm going to do so the bullies don't pick on me anymore? I'm going to join the police department. Police department. Nobody's going to pick on me while I'm wearing my uniform, while I'm going about my beat, right? Do police officers get picked on less? No, they fucking don't. They get punched in the face all the time. So expect, you're going to basically be like Astral SWAT. You're going to come in with a team and you're going to fuck shit up in regards to entities. There are entities that are coming in and ruining people's lives, that are literally trying to ruin people's lives to the point where they are a shell of themselves. And you're going to come in and you're going to chase those guys off. Do you think that's not going to have any repercussions? On occasion, it will. On occasion, you will get hit back. They're going to be pissed that you just hit somebody that they didn't want. Okay, so imagine some big beastie comes in and all his gangster buddies are dead. They're going to want to know who's responsible. So occasionally they come back to us. And occasionally we get hit. And it sucks. But it's part of the job. Imagine being a police officer and not thinking you'll ever get punched in the face. Of course you will. That's part of the job. You're going to deal with assholes. You're going to get hit. You're going to have hard days. But I can guarantee you there's going to be days where you are feeling like, oh my God, there's nothing else I would ever want to do with myself. This is the coolest, most exhilarating, most rewarding job I could ever do. So if you're getting to that point where your confidence is built up, right? And you're like sure of yourself and you're like, yes, I'm going to do this, then you're ready. If you're not to that point yet, maybe wait 6 months. I'll be doing this class again. I'm going to be doing this class every 6 months, probably for the rest of my life. So you have all the time in the world to get ready for this. So if you're not at that confidence level where you're not ready for SRT2, if you're not ready to join our squad, then that's okay. You got plenty of time. And you'll still be able to watch the Lost Soul Rescues. This is why I share the Lost Soul Rescues every Friday that we do them. Because I want you guys to get involved. I want you to see how we do the work so that way you can see if you want to do this work. And if you feel drawn to it, if you feel drawn to that sort of thing, then maybe there's a reason. Maybe this is an actual vocation. Are we fighting demons? No, literally, yes. That is what we're talking about. We do clinical exorcisms here. Okay, I say clinical because both of my mentors were doctors. Both of my mentors were therapists, and they knew for a fact that entities were real because through hypnosis, they found that this was all real. Mars said, that's how it was for me. When you first told me about it, I knew I wasn't ready. Then 6 months ago, I knew I was ready. And look at you now. Look at you now. So yeah, you would literally be working on the front lines in a holy war. So that is why I cannot put enough emphasis on the importance of understanding what you're getting yourself involved in. It's exhilarating and it's fun. And like I said, I wouldn't do anything else, but you need to make sure that you're ready. And if you're not ready, that's fine. Maybe in 6 months, maybe in the next 6 months, you will be ready. But we want the people who are ready now, the people who are confident in themselves, or at least confident in the fact that they're not scared of some fucking beastie. If you're still scared of demons and shit, if you're still not doing your psychic protection every day, no, you're not ready then. You need to be consistent with your psychic protection. You need to know how to handle yourself. And you need to stop gaslighting yourself. Yes, exactly. I still do it all the time. I still gaslight myself all the time. Why do you think I'm constantly going to Adriana going, can you please fact check this for me? So we're all there. I'm not expecting you to be 100% confident, and I'm not expecting you to be 100% fear-free. But I do want you to at least have this sign of, okay, yes, I'm ready. And if you are, fantastic. And like I said, even if it isn't, I did raise the rate this time because I want people to take this seriously. I want people to know that this is an actual career that you're going to be joining. This is not something that I want people joining because they're curious. I mean, of course, you're probably curious. There's all kinds of exciting things we're talking about. I mean, who wouldn't want to learn about reptilians and how to fight demons and shit? Like, it's fascinating and exhilarating, and we are saving lives with every clearing. I truly believe that. But it's not something that everybody can stomach because we find some really freaky stuff, and every once in a while we get hit. And it's not fun to get hit. And when I say hit, for those of you who don't understand what I mean, I'm not talking about something pinging your etheric field, okay? That's like a normal psychic attack is something coming into your etheric field, and you just feel a bit nauseous for a few minutes. And you feel like, oh, I feel like shit. And then you just call on your gatekeeper, and then it goes away. That's not what I'm talking. That's what we call a ping. When something just comes in, hits your etheric field, and then, it's gone within a couple minutes. When I say hit, I'm talking about like when you have a psychic attack that floors you for days. There are psychic attacks that will ruin your vibration for like a week, where your vibration is up here and everything is all good. And then all of a sudden you get hit with a psychic attack that feels like you've been hit by a truck and your vibration just nosedives. And it's hard when that happens because there are days where, you will feel depressed, you'll feel down, you'll feel exhausted. A psychic attack, a really bad one, can mimic the flu. A really bad psychic attack is often mimicking a flu. A lot of people gaslight themselves by saying, oh, I just have the flu. I'm run down. I'm burned out. We find out later on, no, you got 3 reptilians on you and they are beating the crap out of you. They're having a blanket party in your honor. Okay. That is when the shit gets really rough. And we all go through that. I've been through that myself a few times. So just be aware that, we look after each other. We protect each other. And this is why I would not want to do this work alone. There's no way. If I was the only person and I only had one other medium to work with, I wouldn't be doing this work. Do you know what keeps us safe? Working as a group, protecting each other. If one of us gets hit, another one comes in and clears us. So, there's all kinds of things that are going to try. They don't want you doing this work. None of the entities are happy about us doing this work. So yeah, some of you, even just thinking about SRT, you're going to get hit. And you're going to wonder, why are they hitting me? I had a client, literally a student this week, message me going, I just wanted to sign up for SRT2. All I was thinking was getting SRT2 signed up. And I got hit with such a bad nausea and headache and this and that. I went and checked that person. They had 3 reptilians on them. All they had to do was think, I want to do SRT, and they got jumped on. So just be aware, sometimes it's not that you don't want to do this work. Sometimes other things don't want you doing this work. And they're going to try and get in the way. They'll try and sabotage you financially. They'll try and have some kind of a drama happen in the family. They'll try and psychic attack you in your sleep. They'll try to instill fear. They'll try and make you scared so you think that you can't handle this work. And if it works, then no, you're not ready yet. Then just give it a couple more months. And if you do feel like I'm getting attacked, but I'm ready, we've got your back. We'll help push them back. We'll help make sure that you are safe. But you need to do the work yourself. You need to keep your vibration up. You have to purge the fear. You have to get out of a victim mindset. And I had to kick a couple students out. I had to. I'm going to tell you straight. There's a couple students I had to remove from SRT2. A couple of them I even refunded, even though we put hundreds of hours into training them. Do you know why? Because it didn't help. Because they still were in fear state. They still hadn't shifted their fear-based mindset. Every time we sat down to do clearings, they would get majorly triggered. And they weren't able to maintain their sovereignty. Every day they would pick up something new. And if you're in that mentality, yeah, I'm going to probably refund you and kick you out. And I do it with love. I will do it with all the love, and I will still support you 100%. But if you think about it this way, if you have a fear-based mentality, right? You have a target on your back. Why is that? Why is fear a target? Well, because fear is food for entities. That's like putting out all this food in your front yard and not expecting the raccoons to come. Okay, like literally, that's what happens. You put all this food in one area, of course they're going to come. They're going to smell it. They're everywhere. And they're hungry. So if you have a fear-based mentality, bam, you have a target on your back everywhere you go. And you are going to constantly pick up entities. So if you join SRT2 with a fear-based mentality, you already have one target on your back. The second target comes from doing SRT. If entities see that you're doing SRT, they're going to be like, oh my God, let's get her. We want to stop her. She's already afraid. Let's jump on her extra. And she's already afraid and now she wants to do SRT? Oh, that's 2 targets on her back. Let's get her, right? And the entities will use that fear to get to you and will affect you more. Do you want to hear how they get a third target? Third target comes when they sit in on a session with us. So they come into the session with a fear-based mentality that is attracting entities who want that food. They come in with the intention of trying to help people when a time when entities are like, fuck you, you're not allowed to help people. I'm going to get in the way of that. And the third target comes when they're tuning into a client. We're tuning into a client. We're tuning into somebody who has schizophrenia, probably. My pro bonos, my students will tell you, what are my pro bonos like? My students from SRT2, the first class, they will tell you all about my pro bonos. In fact, we even had a joke about it. my regular clients, they're pretty docile in cases and compared to my pro bono cases. Why? Because usually when a case is so bad that they can't even afford to pay for a session, they've had a long-term attachment that has been ravishing their whole life. If they don't even have the money for that, that's when they get put on my list. I will never tell someone no. If you come to me and say, I need a clearing, I will never tell you no. I will never say, oh, you owe me $100. If you don't pay me $100, I won't clear you. I do pro bonos all the time. In fact, about half of my cases we do are pro bonos. They're for free. Why is that? Well, because these are the cases that are the worst. There are people, like I'm telling you, there are people on my pro bono list where we needed 5 mediums to clear them all at once. That's how bad they were. And we're going to be tuning into people like this. So just to put that into perspective, that is why I am serious about if you're not ready yet, then just wait. Because otherwise, you're going to have 3 targets on your back. And you don't want those 3 targets because that's 3 opportunities for the entities to fuck with you more. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm driving it home today. I hope I'm really making my point. Because yes, this is the best job ever, and I would never want to do anything else, but you have to be in the right mindset for it, and you have to build yourself up and prepare for it. Because if you don't, then they're going to blindside you, and they're going to use every single one of those targets on your back as an opportunity to try and screw with you and to scare you away from doing this work. And if you get into it too soon, they may scare you away from it for life. So, like, this is the real deal. If it wasn't, I wouldn't even be training you guys. I'd be like, I'm the only one that can do this. But instead, I'm like, no, please, this is real and I need help. I'm overwhelmed. I'm getting 10 to 20 bookings a single day. So please, I am overwhelmed. I can't do this work on my own, and I need more mediums. I need more facilitators. We need to support our community. And to be honest, like, I don't know many people in the whole world that are doing this kind of work. There's very few people that do spirit release that even do it with the help of guides too. So you guys have found yourself in a very unique, very special place that I don't even know, like, if you came here, you found this place by divine appointment, so to speak. There's no way that if you got to this page and you're interested and you're listening to me talk about this, that there isn't some kind of a connection or a plan for you. It's just maybe not yet. But if you are confident and you are ready and you love doing this work, if you've been watching the Lost Soul Rescues and you're like, oh my God, I want to do this so bad, then you're ready. That is the best job ever. I'm telling you, you're going to fucking love it. I'm telling you, it is exhilarating. It is so much fun. And the things that I am learning about myself, the way that I'm advancing through doing this work with every clearing, I'm telling you, there's no other vocation for me. I love it. And for those of you who feel the same way, when you watch a Lost Soul Rescue and you get chills and excitement and you can feel that, like, oh my God, I love this. Like, you probably have the same vocation I do. And it took me a while to get to this confidence level. Those of you who are watching my podcast 2 years ago, there's some of you, are kind of new, but some of you have known me for over 2 years now. And what was I like in the beginning and when I was in class for SRT1? When I was in class for all of this, do you remember what it was like? Holy shit. I was going through the ringer. I had so many things happening to me and I was getting pinged and hit all the time and I was getting messed with and I had my confidence. I had to work on all these things. Like, it was a mess. It was really hard for me. So I just want you to know that's normal. It's normal for people to have a bit of struggle when you're getting back into alignment because you're shifting and releasing all the shit that no longer serves you at the same time. And I had a lot to purge from my life. And you know what's interesting? You know what's funny? This was all part of my plan. This was the plan the whole time. I found out from my Akashic record. I planned this, having my own academy, teaching you guys all of this, traveling around the world and doing classes, and even planning on having healing centers around the world for doing SRT, for learning SRT, and for bringing in clients and giving them a safe space to get sovereign and to get their vibration back up. That was the plan this whole time. I made that plan before I was even born. So I am in alignment. And some of you also made this plan. So if you feel drawn to this, and if you happen to be here at this time, there's got to be a reason for it. So be patient with yourself. Start working on your connection. Start doing your psychic protection. That's the most important thing out of all of this. Have you called in your gatekeeper this morning? Have you said to your gatekeeper, please stay close to me today and please protect me? Have you said that to your gatekeeper yet? I did. I'm talking to my gatekeeper a lot more recently. Making goo-goo eyes at my gatekeeper. So have you asked your gatekeeper for protection today? Have you looked over at your gatekeeper, wherever he is, and said, hey, gatekeeper, stay close and protect me today? If you haven't yet, then you need to get on it. Have you said to your companion guide, please guide me in whatever way you feel best serves me to my highest good? Have you asked your guides? Have you asked your team today? Have you said to your team, please guide me in whatever way that you feel serves me best to my highest good? If you haven't asked, you're not getting it. If you haven't asked your team for help and support, you're not getting help and support. If you're not asking for your protector to protect you, you're not getting protection. So just be aware that this is very important. And consistency is one of the ways you're going to know if you're ready or not. Are you consistently doing your psychic protection? Are you consistently doing your daily grounding? Are you consistently asking your team for help? If you are, bam, yes. You should be patting yourself on the back because most people are not doing that. Allison says, my gatekeeper makes me nauseous. They have a very high vibration then. So your challenge in that regard is to get your vibration up higher. Because if your gatekeeper's vibration is up here and your vibration is down here, first of all, you're not going to have a good connection. You're not going to be able to hear each other. You're not going to feel that energy coming in because their vibration is way different. And as you get your vibration to match, because they will lower their vibration and help you bring up your vibration. And that is when you have the connection. That is when you can see and hear your guide, or at least sense and hear them. When your third eye opens and your vibration matches. If you have this disparity between the two, a lot of people are like, why do I feel my gatekeeper sometimes and why do I not feel him other times? Well, first of all, if you're a female and your gatekeeper is a male, I learned this with Fergus because I was like, what is going on? How come I could feel Fergus standing right next to me sometimes? And then other times he feels so far away, I can barely feel his energy. And that's what they told me. They said, well, if he was so close to you all the time, 24/7, his masculine energy would start to affect your feminine energy and make it less balanced. So they do try to keep your masculine and feminine energy balanced, regardless of what vessel you're in. So if I always have this very strong masculine presence around me, it will change my presence as well. So that's why I have my beloved Galis who's hanging out with me. And Galis comes in and she helps me to feel more sovereign or more feminine in that regard, because her energy is very soft and loving and feminine. So by them being with me all the time, it helps to balance my energy. So sometimes your gatekeeper can have a very, very strong, very high vibration, especially because some of you have a galactic gatekeeper or even like a dragon gatekeeper who's your protector, right? And so your human vibration is down here and your galactic guy's vibration is like way up there. And then that difference in vibration is what creates the nausea. So if your vibration goes up really fast, you're going to feel the nausea. If your vibration goes down really fast, you're going to feel nausea. So this is why it sucks, but vibration and nausea can be a green flag or a red flag, depending on if it's your guide or a beastie coming in. So getting to learn how a high vibration feels versus a low vibration is really important because, yeah, if your gatekeeper comes in and they have a strong vibration, like Christy has a dragon gatekeeper, you're probably going to feel like heart palpitations and nausea as your guide comes in. Those of you with Irma soul guides are going to feel the same thing. You're going to have that really intense energy. You're going to feel a bit like, that's because their vibration is so high. Every single time Adriana sits down to do a mediumship session, or I should say an Akashic record session, she knows if one of you has an Irma guide. She can feel it immediately because their vibration is so high. So there's all kinds of really interesting stuff that we'll be discussing about this in regards to mediumship. And for the record, by signing up for SRT2, you get mediumship training for free. Yes. After you've passed being a facilitator, you get to sit in on our cases, tune in with your guides in a safe space, and develop your mediumship for free. So this is not only just an SRT certification, you will be certified as a medium if you go and do everything right. If you're doing all the practice and you're working on it, you're connecting to your team, and you're building that strong connection, that's what's going to, yeah, absolutely. We would be happy to have you on as our team as a medium. So we train people as mediums too, and that will be included in that price. So that is part of the reason why we are charging $444 for the SRT2, is because we are literally putting hundreds of hours into training you guys. No joke. Like, and this isn't just one weekend you're signing up for the record, okay? SRT2 is not just one weekend. That's how it starts, is one weekend. But after that weekend, you're going to be joining regular practice sessions. You'll be tuning in. You'll be doing your own cases. You'll be able to lead as the facilitator. You'll go through the protocol. Once you learn the protocol, you'll start getting all kinds of really cool things that you can learn. And you'll start to implement those things during practice sessions. And we'll even put you guys into breakout rooms and all kinds of exciting things. Nicole says, what about feeling very emotional? Can be happy when they pop in, literally break into a cry. Nicole, I'm going through that as well in regards to unpacking my past life memories. And some of it, keep in mind that when you release stuff, you're having a whole lot of emotions coming to the surface. I've been crying all week and I don't even know why I'm crying. I'm one of those people, like, I feel like I'm on my period, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all these emotions coming out. It's got to be fucking Mercury retrograde. It's got to be. That and all the flares and all that stuff is coming and calling for us to be healed. So if something is making you cry, there's something that's being released, and that's a good thing. You don't even have to know what it is. You can meditate on it. You can try and figure out what it is, but honestly, you're releasing it. So you don't have to dwell on the past. Just release it. Let it out. So how can we protect ourselves energetically? I teach a 4-hour class on that. It's on my website. I teach a 4-hour class. It's called Psychic Protection and Spiritual Hygiene 101. That is the very first class I insist people take when they want to do SRT training. So if you're interested in SRT2, which is going to be starting the very first week of December, that is the Friday and Saturday, December 5th and 6th. If you miss one of those days, it's fine. If you only have Saturday off, it's perfectly fine. You're going to be doing a lot more than just those 2 days. Those 2 days are when you guys are going to be sitting in and watching us work. We're going to cover a lot of stuff, but you'll actually get to see us do clearings. And then after that, we will get you on the roster. We share everything on the Astara group, and you will have at least 3 to 4 practice sessions a week that you are welcome to join. If you are unable to join those, we always post the recordings in the group, so you can always watch them anyway. There are hundreds of hours of recordings that we put up about stuff. I am not even kidding. And many thanks to Charisse for doing this, because Charisse uploads all these videos for us. We are so grateful to Charisse because she puts so much effort into making sure that the material is available to those who are not able to access it live. So even if you've got a busy work schedule and you really want to do this and you're really interested, yep. Can us round 1 students join those too? The practice sessions, yes. The practice sessions, you are welcome to join. Yep. Because they're going to go up. They're going to go up in SRT too. You guys are going to see the same events. We're not kicking you out of the SRT group on Astara. You're going to see the same stuff. So yeah, you're more than welcome to sit on those sessions. Debbie says, my ears are screaming super high pitch. That's either resonating with truth or your guides are excited. Your guides might be doing this right now. Whenever I hear ears ringing, that's either a guide. That's usually a guide talking to me. Are y'all taking pro bonos right now for clearing? We're always taking pro bonos. My list for a pro bono right now is 4 months long. We do pro bonos every single day. And yet my list right now for a free clearing is 4 months long. Yep. People are waiting 4 months for a clearing. So if you would like a clearing, the fastest way to get one is through booking one on my website, because that is only 3 weeks booked out. My list right now, people who book today will get a clearing in 3 weeks, because that's how long my backlog is. I'm 3 weeks backlogged with clearings right now. Just out of curiosity, people are wondering, like, how many are we talking? How many pending clearings do I have? Well, let's see. 133. 133. Isn't that funny? I have 133 pending clients right now. And some of those have family booking. So I have to clear 4 people for one booking. And each one gets a separate report. So this is why I say, like, I'm up here. I'm drowning in cases in work right now. We have a whole planet to clear. So yeah, please, if some of you feel like this is a vocation and something you want to do for a career, fuck yeah, let's do it. Please do join us. So on Friday and Saturday, December 5th and 6th is the first round of SRT2. We will be doing 5 hours of practice sessions and training. And we'll basically be going through all the material. For those of you who sat through SRT1, we are going much more in depth into these things. So like entities, for example, we're going to be going a lot more into entities. We'll be going a lot more into soul contracts, for example, or past life resonances. We'll teach you how to conduct a client session and by going through those past life resonances and how to heal the different layers that occur. And in the future, we'll even be teaching a psychic surgery course. We have so much that we are very excited to teach you guys. And keep in mind, right, that it's not just you that gets training. Your training is important, but it's not the most important thing. If you're going to be a facilitator or a medium, yeah, your training is very important. Do you know who's the most important training out of all of this? Your guides. Your soul guides need to be trained. They're going to school too. You're training through me. My guides are training yours. So your soul guides will be going to class. You will be joining class as well. They will be going to school. And when they go to school, they will be learning how to deal with beasties, how to deal with parasites and entities, and how to go down, send healing down timelines and all kinds of crazy shit. So, somebody said, if you want to do a whole family clearing, is that just one booking? So I have 2 options for family clearings. I have a 1 lump sum report where we put all the family into a bubble and clear them all at once. We call them mass clearings. A mass clearing for 10 people is $250. A mass clearing for 4 people for a family mass clearing is $188. And we clear everybody together. We just put it all into one report. So if you're somebody who wants your whole family cleared, we have both of those options available. Every clearing is done the same, just for the record. Every single time we do a clearing, the clearings are the same. We clear the same stuff regardless. What you're paying for in between the different types of clearings that we get is how much information you want from that report. Does that make sense? So let's just say I do a quick clearing. I'm not going to tell you where your implants are. If you book a recheck, there's less information in there. I only charge $60 for a recheck. Most of the time, the reason that people book rechecks is because they get them monthly. I have most of my repeated clients are actually healers themselves. And they're concerned about picking up stuff from their clients. They're either hypnotists or Reiki healers, we get all kinds of healers from all kinds of different backgrounds, and they get concerned about picking up stuff from clients. So they get a regular maintenance clearing. That is why that's available first on my website if you look. Because yeah, $60 for a regular maintenance clearing. I do tell you what we find, but I don't go into explicit detail because by the time you're booking rechecks, you already kind of know all this shit anyway. It's not that important to have all this extra detail in there. If you want a standard SRT, that is the $99 one. That is when I ask the basic questions. I go through all of it. I'll tell you about what your trauma is in your past life. If you're curious what trauma you're carrying from a past life or what kind of curses and spells and stuff and a bit more information, that is why most people get the $99 one, the standard SRT. But if you're somebody that's been going through really, really heavy stuff and you want to know why, somebody who's struggling to stay sovereign, somebody who's trying to figure out where their highest vulnerability is, or somebody who wants a lot of extra information about where their soul lineage is from, if they're a starseed, if they want to know who their guides are, things like that. That is why we offer the full detailed session. So it's half standard SRT, which is the $99 one, but also we ask 6 additional questions on there, 3 of which are set that we choose, which is, what is your highest vulnerability? Is there any aftercare in regards to what the guides recommend in staying sovereign or getting on your highest timeline? And also we ask, what is your life purpose? Why are you here? Why did you choose a human vessel in this lifetime? So those are the 3 set questions for a full detailed. If you have more questions, you are able to submit 3 questions on top of those original 3, and we can ask whatever you want. So if you want to know, I don't know, something like, why did my dad abandon me when I was 10 years old? You can ask that. If you want to know, is this a karmic relationship I have with my husband? Yeah, you can ask that. You can ask, am I going to be rich and famous someday? You can ask that. They're not going to answer it. They're going to say, no, we're not going to tell you that. The least favorite thing that you can ask the guides is about the future. They're going to tell you, I can't tell you. They will not ever tell you about the future. Why? Because first of all, they're not allowed to. That's breaking your free will. Second, they don't know what your future is going to be. There's so many different timelines. The universe is like one of those choose your own adventure books. You could change your timeline and go end up having a completely different future if you go down a completely different path than the one you were on when they gave that session. And then you'll feel disappointed and you'll think the medium was full of shit. What's the winning lottery numbers? Oh, I've had people ask questions like that, Jessica. I am not even kidding. Is he my twin flame? That's the other one. You know what Zach said to me last night? I literally had somebody ask that question. They said, is this person my twin flame? Zach says, Laura, you know twin flames aren't a real thing. I was like, yes, I know. I know they're not. Lots of people think they are, but no, they're not a real thing. If you technically, you know what a real twin flame is? We're all twin flames. If you think about it, I'm source, you're source, he's source, they're source, everybody's source, right? We're all twin flames. Either we're all twin flames or we're none of us are twin flames. That's pretty much how it works. But tell it to a human that has been falling into this whole twin flame trap for the last 5 years, and they're going to think you're nuts. They're going to say, no, that's not what I'm going through. Every time you ask, is it a twin flame? You know what the guides say? Of course it's karmic. They don't say, oh, yeah, totally it's a twin flame. I've had a couple of them say, yeah, it's the same soul split between two consciousnesses, but they will still not use the word twin flame. It's got so many negative connotations in spirit that even if you actually were a twin flame, they're not going to say, they're not going to use that lingo. They'll say it's a spark of the same consciousness split between 2 bodies. And in most cases, they're twins anyway. They're not actually romantic partners. So there's a lot of disappointment. I'm sorry. If you want the truth, I will give you the truth. I am not going to fluff anything in your report. So chances are, if you're asking if my partner is a twin flame, I almost positively guarantee you are not going to be twin flames. It's going to be karmic. Especially if you're dealing with that whole like runner dynamic that some people talk about, like one runs away and the other's pining for them. And then it switches, like one will do the pining and the other will do the running. You know, that's all karmic, 100% karmic. None of that is twin flame anything. You're dealing with a karmic relationship. He probably either cheated on you, broke your heart, or abandoned you in a past life. And you held on to so much resentment, they said, okay, we got to do this again. So if you've got resentment towards a partner, you're going to end up repeating the same shit with this partner. You don't even know it. So anyway, this was a 2-hour-long rant today about SRT. If you guys are interested, here's the sign up. I have the sign up for SRT. Charisse is putting it on the website right now. If you are interested in SRT too, there's the sign up for it. It will be going up on the website. Thank you to Charisse for putting it up on my website today. So if you are interested, there's going to be all kinds of information that I will be adding later on. There's going to be a bit more in the detailed section. I just set it up right before the podcast this morning. So for the record, it will be a 5-hour class Friday and Saturday. If it says 2 hours, that's not accurate. I'll have to fix that. So yeah, that will be a 5-hour class. You will be sitting in and learning the same way we did with SRT1, but then you'll be able to watch practice sessions as well. And then we will be doing the weekly practice sessions for 4 weeks. We do 4 weeks of practice sessions 3 times a week. Possibly even more, depending on whether or not we'll also continue doing Lost Soul Rescue. What is the turnaround for an emergency clearing? Turnaround for emergencies, I do immediately. If you book an emergency, I do yours next. It puts you to the front of the queue. And so if you've already been waiting a couple weeks and you're like, it's getting really bad, and you message me, yes, I'll put a rush on it for you. I'm not always doing emergency just because people pay for it. If you message me and say, hey, look, I booked a couple weeks ago and things are really, really bad right now, can you try and put a rush on it for me? If you ask me nicely, yes, of course. But if you're somebody who booked like yesterday and you're like, fuck, this is bad, I need a clearing now, I highly recommend booking an emergency add-on to it, and just, you can put yourself to the front of the queue. And with every person, for the record, every person that passes their mediumship assessment, you have my permission to promote your business in the SRT group. So if you have certified as a medium, so we have 3 new mediums that have been certified in the last 3 weeks. Congratulations to Janet, Raquel, and to Brett. You are welcome to promote yourself in my group, in my SRT group. So that will help me with my caseload as well when you guys start taking cases. So yeah, if you see somebody has been certified and they're offering clearings, by all means, sign up with them. They've got my seal of approval. They're going to be good. So please do. I encourage you to book with my students. In fact, I would love for some of you to book with my students because I'm drowning in cases. All right. So after you've passed your mediumship assessment and you've gotten your mediumship certification, you are welcome to promote in the group and let people know. And then you can start gaining clients that way. And I can even coach you on how to build up your own social medias and help you guys to kind of grow your online presence. Is there a lawful rescue today? Heck yeah, there is. There will not be one next week because I'm traveling next Friday and ironically the Friday after that. So for the next 2 weeks, there will not be a lawful rescue. And I'm really sorry about that, but I have early morning flights and I won't even be around. I'll be in an airport for both Fridays. I did not plan that very well. My apologies. So there is a lawful rescue today, and we do have practice sessions for our usual practice sessions on Saturday. So I will see you guys this afternoon. Well, probably in about less than an hour for the lawful rescue today. And then I will see the rest of the students on Saturday. Cherie said today was canceled. That must have been a miscommunication. I meant to tell her next Friday, not this Friday. No, sorry. That's my bad. I believe it's still the plan. Carolyn, you still good? Yeah, I think we are still good. So no, that was supposed to be for next Friday. So the 2 Fridays after this one. That's why I have to do it today because I'm going to be gone for 2 Fridays. So just click the same link in the group. Thank you, Charisse. Just click the same group. This is the same Zoom link every time. So if you just save that Zoom link, then you guys will be able to join. So Janet says, I didn't know that, but I guess since we're all source, we also technically Draco's and Lizzie's. They're very far removed from source. But yes, technically everything in existence is source. Everything is. I found another Draco starseed yesterday. Yeah, I found a starseed who was going through some shit, right? Really heavy stuff. Like really heavy stuff. And this starseed was going through, I mean, more than usual. Like in and out of jail kind of thing, right? And I was curious. I was like, I think starseed. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm really good at this game, by the way. Like I'm 9 times out of 10 recently, I've been right about starseed origin. And I was like, he's a Draco starseed, isn't he? Orion starseed. And they were like, yes, he is. And I was like, I fucking knew it. Like, I knew it. So yeah, I I bump into those type of starseeds as well. You know what's interesting about that Draco is, for the record, like just to clarify what I mean by Draco starseed, they died as a reptilian and now they're taking human bodies. So they're still starseed. Dracos are galactic. They're not from Earth. So they were like, is this a nice Draco? No. If you look at the history, if you look at the shit that they went into in their past lives, then technically, no, it wasn't a nice Draco. No, I did not put that in the report. I'm not going to tell somebody they're Draco starseed. They're going to be like, what? And feel awful about it. No, it's nothing bad. In fact, I love it. I love the fact that there are Dracos incarnating as humans, trying to change, trying to be better. That's wonderful. We want all the Dracos to change and be better, right? But you know what's crazy? Guess what we found on this Draco starseed? Whole bunch of Dracos picking on him. And I was like, that's pretty shit. Like, you'd think they'd be trying to help him, right? Like, and I said to Zach last night, I was like, that's kind of shitty, right? That they would be picking on him like that. You know what they said? It's kind of like that no honor among thieves. They don't have compassion. They don't have, concern for each other. They actually would eat each other if they needed to. In fact, they probably do. So yeah, they were bullying him. They were mean to him. They were awful. They were jumping on this poor guy just because he's a Draco trying to change himself. Exactly, Jessica said. Jessica says leaving him for bullying him for leaving the group. They have no loyalty whatsoever. None. Zero. In fact, if they could have picked on that guy, they could have driven him to insanity or worse. Allison says our Lizzie's reptilians the same. Yeah, it's our pet name for them. They like being called reptilian, so I don't like calling them that. If anything that they like, we call them Lizzies and clowns because they hate it. Fuck them. They hate it. That's why we call them Lizzies. It's just a nickname. It's just a funny nickname we use for them, Lizzies and clowns. But no, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about reptilians. If I say Draco, that's a specific type of reptilian. The Draco are the nasty looking ones, the more dinosaur looking ones. The Kingu are the half human hybrids. They're like the slave versions. They're the. You ever say like we get like foot soldiers? If you find foot soldiers on people, that's what those are. Those are the Kingu. They're like half human, half reptilian hybrids, half Draco hybrids, I should say. Then we get the Naga and the other more rare types. Those are the old world ones, the old world reptilians, like the Naga. The Naga, the snake-like ones that you see in the temples. So those ones, those ones are real. They are very real, but they're very rare. In fact, if you end up on one of those, chances are they're still attached to you from a past life because they can harass you multidimensionally. They harass you in different timelines as well. That's why we're going to teach you how to clear other timelines. Not only do we have to clear you when we find a past life resonance, we have to go into that alternate past life and clear that other version of you. Like, I'm not even kidding. This work is insane. Like, the things that we have to do in regard to healing is very different to what most people would expect in regards to healing. We're literally timeline jumping while we clear you. We send in our guides to alternate versions of alternate realities where you are currently being harassed by something. Usually if you have a witch wound, for example, it's a demonic or reptilian. So if you had a triggered witch wound in your past life, if you saw that on your report, that means that our guides jumped into an alternate reality and cleared this alternate version of you that is happening simultaneously somewhere in another reality. Because they had to clear that other version of you because that's where it's bridging the gap. This is where all the shit's coming through. You created a portal between your version here and your version there, and entities are using that portal, those cords between that lifetime, to come back and forth and harass both versions of you simultaneously. That is how a dark contract ends up from a past life. So no joke. Yes, this is kind of learn as you go, Allison. There's a lot to cover. Very exciting stuff. And we learned some of the most fascinating things you could ever experience. So anyway, that is my long-winded explanation today. I didn't really want to go too much in depth into SRT2 on a different date because I wanted to make sure that you guys understood what you're getting into today. So I realized this was a very long, big chat, but if you're ready for SRT2 and you think you're ready, I wanted to make sure to drive that home that you know you're ready. Because this stuff is exhilarating, but it can be crazy. And there are going to be cases that sit with you for days after you're done doing the case. It's happened to me where you either didn't like the result of the case or some heavy shit happened during the case or you just found out about something that triggered you emotionally. There's a lot. This is heavy shit we're dealing with. And yet I wouldn't want to do anything else. That's how awesome it is. So many thanks to all of I'm so proud of my students. I just want to say, like, those of you who sat through SRT2 and you got certification and you worked your ass off to get that certification, because there's a lot. This is a lot. This is a whole career that you're developing here. So I just wanted to say I am so proud of you guys. And I am so excited to be introducing the new students coming in to the more senior students, because I know you guys are going to be wonderful in regards to answering their questions and being supportive and loving and just holding that space for them so that they feel more safe. Because this is a little scary at first. I mean, we all were. I was a little scared at first when I first joined. It didn't take that much time to build my confidence because I knew I had a team around me that was always going to look after me. And I hope that you guys know that as well. We've got your back 100%. So I can't wait to meet the new students. Natalie says the same thing. I'm looking forward to meeting the new peers. I am too. I can't wait to have you guys join us. It's going to be an amazing, amazing journey. I love you all so much. I look forward to seeing you either at the Lost Soul Rescue in a little bit, or I will see you on Monday. Mwah! See you soon, everyone. Bye.